$1 million Rocket League coaching empire from his bedroom. And what started as a simple video idea talking about Luke's videos quickly evolved into something a lot deeper. I've had an exclusive look behind the scenes of this coaching empire, uncovering lies, deception, and convicted criminals. This is the story of Spook Luke.
I think Richard has turned him into something, and I just don't see him going back from it, you know?
The Grand Champ Bootcamp, or GCB, the service that offers to unlock your full potential with a 12-week coaching program alongside some of the best coaches in the game. There is no setup quite like this in Rocket League. This $1 million idea started with Luke uploading Rocket League tutorials to his YouTube channel over 3 years ago, which he used as a main traffic source to direct players towards the GCB. And on the surface, Luke's videos are informative for lower ranked players who need basic information to rank up.
Getting a coaching session from him was like incredible, because he could do so much stuff that I couldn't do and didn't ever think I'd be able to do.
But if you dig deeper, there are some instances where he has left people in higher ranks scratching their heads as to how this man runs $1 million coaching business.
I honestly think getting out of plat is just waiting back and just not going. Like, every plat just wants to jump for that ball. Just don't jump. You want to jump there? Don't go. No reason to go. You just wait. The ball goes there, it's not threatening, you go around your net and you wait in the center.
Now, the main thing that annoys people is the prices that Luke charges to gain access into the GCB, reaching upwards of $1,000. And in fairness, as the business has grown, Luke stepped back from coaching. He has a team of high-level coaches such as Freaky and Seabass under him now. Regardless, critics believe that you still do not need to pay $1,000 for someone to tell you to rotate back post. And yes, I am critics. Anyway, this is where the video would have ended. Me just poking a little bit of fun of Luke for posting some questionable coaching content. But then I got a DM.
Hey, I have watched a couple of your videos, and I wasn't sure if you'd be interested in a crazy story. He has basically scammed close to 2K RL players out of money. He has a silent partner who has been arrested for scamming people with Ponzi schemes. And lastly, he recently fired one of the only guys in his organization that cared about those people in the server.
So naturally this grabbed my attention and I set out to work to answer the following questions. Is Spook Luke a scammer? Who is Luke's criminal partner? And who was the community man that was fired by Luke? I was lucky to get into a call with Luke's former lead salesman called Django, who explained a lot more than I ever could have asked for. But first, it's important to give some context. Most of what Luke has formed his business model around is what a man named Richard Yu has taught him.
I can't play Rocket League anymore without just thinking about like the just complete and utter wickedness of Richard. Richard is the bad person.
A quick Google of his name shows that Richard has been previously charged with insider trading and accused of scamming by a lot of people. He now runs a business coaching operation which Spook Luke is signed up to. And Luke got Richard Yu to teach Django how to make money through sales, and it worked very well. And in a sense, I'm kind of glad, because Luke allegedly pays Richard Yu $10,000 a month for his business courses.
Richard is a master salesman. I will give him that. I made him over $100,000 in the first 4 months of me working.
It's one thing getting people to pay $10 for a session, let alone $1,000 for a 3-month course. So how does Luke get so many people to sign up?
We had this girl named Haley and this kid named Prag, right? They would log into Luke's Discord, and when people would message Luke, they would just copy and paste messages to all the people that had replied.
The customer would then be sent to Django, who would prioritize customers who are willing to spend more. And Django would talk to the customer and follow a script given to him by Luke and Richard to get them to sign up.
Well, man, I don't want money to stop you from reaching your goals. Obviously, you put in the work to get here. I've spoken with you. You're a good dude. You have what it takes to do what you want. You can turn this into an investment, become a streamer, dude. You know, you can make your money back off this. If this is something that makes you happy, you should do that. How about if you sign up today, I can go ahead and give you a one-time discount and get you in for $1,000. Does that sound good? Hey, man, you know what? I can do that. And then, boom. You're in.
So in short, the whole sales pitch is making the customer feel like they spoke to a YouTuber, making them feel special, and then make them want to be part of the so-called inner circle, which I'm not gonna lie, it comes off as a bit culty, the inner circle thing, but you know. And usually a day later, the customer would come back to Django with regrets.
The next day, they regretted it, and then they would call me and ask for a refund. I've had people tell me, hey man, I'm whispering because if my wife finds out I'm doing this, she'll divorce me. And I felt bad. You know, I'm a good guy. I don't enjoy hurting people like that, you know, or manipulating them.
But he could not issue refunds as all calls were monitored by Luke. And after Django told me this, I was a little bit conflicted. In one sense, I do have sympathy for the people who were manipulated into buying the coaching. But on the other hand, I can't really help but think it's also your fault. Despite it being unethical, Luke and Richard aren't really doing anything illegal here. Let me know what you guys think of this below. I don't really know. But this is just the start. Another shady tactic that Luke has used in the past to promote his business follows the same themes of deception, along with a man named Diabetic Delight, or Kevin.
Fucking hated working with Kevin. He was so narcissistic. God, he was awful.
2 years ago, Luke posted a video titled Meet the 12-Day Grand Champ, Rocket League's 288-hour GC, which has since been deleted. In the video, he claims Kevin reached GC through the help of his Grand Champ bootcamp, and then used Kevin's story to entice more people to join. But the true story is a lot different.
Kevin got boosted to Grand Champ, and then got hired by Luke.
And the evidence towards this is crystal clear when you look at both Kevin's tracker and the replays of the guy who was boosting him. And once this inevitably got leaked, Luke claimed not to have known and released an apology video that has also since been deleted. As to whether Luke genuinely did not know about Kevin's boosting is something that only he knows. But either way, the community blasted Luke for a pretty bad mistake. And around the same time as this, people had noticed a drastic change in Luke's personality.
How he got rid of me was awful. It was the coldest experience like I've ever had of being let go from a job.
The voice you just heard is the voice of Dreamy, one member of the team of day ones that Luke had employed, but also one of the several people that Luke has treated unfairly in the eyes of Django. But first, it is important to note the working conditions under Luke.
If you missed your stand-up meeting at 8 a.m., you don't get paid for the day.
And despite being the lead salesman, making Luke $100,000 in his first 4 months, Luke asked Django to join a call with him for a talk.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to take your $14 an hour pay away. I will give you an 11% commission instead of 10%. I'm like, you fucking $10, bro? You're gonna give me $10 per sale?
And to add to this, the commission that Django would make wasn't even being tracked properly. The figure that Django alleges is missing from the company ranges from $30,000 to $70,000.
I think right now he still technically owes me like $3,000.
So that was it at the Grand Champ bootcamp for Django, but he did go on to mention another key figure in the company called Dreamy.
He is the nicest person that you could find, man. He's great.
Basically, that community in the GCB, I had built, grown, and spent time and looked after. All the systems that we ran the business on, I built.
Dreamy had worked with Luke since day one, acting as the operations manager of the company, but in reality, he did a lot more. He would spend 4 years of his life building up this community that helped make Luke over $1 million. He would hold mental health sessions with people in the community and genuinely cared and believed in the whole company. So when Dreamy was brought into a call by Luke in January 2024, what came next shocked him.
Finished work, got a call. Hey, how are you? I said, yeah, doing really well. Explained everything I'd done. And he just went, okay, well, unfortunately, like, I've been evaluating the business and we haven't got any room for your role at the moment, so I'm going to let you go. Asked me if I had any questions, and that was the end of the conversation. And when I announced that I'd been let go because they didn't, it caused a huge uproar.
This led members of the GCB to leave en masse, and to make matters worse, Luke deleted Nick's goodbye message to the Discord server, and as a result of this outrage, a public apology from Luke was released. Luke acknowledged that the delivery of him firing Dreamy was cold, stating it was due to him being very emotional at having to fire him. He said budget cuts were the reason Dreamy was let go, and offered a big thanks to Dreamy in the 3-page public apology. And once again, whether Luke is being genuine or just following Richard Yu's advice is a contentious topic, but regardless, Dreamy offered an optimistic perspective.
When I read the announcement, it felt heartfelt. If I went back to 21-year-old me, I could almost guarantee that, you know, I probably did a load of dumb stuff.
And after hearing this from Dreamy, I can understand why he was so highly regarded in the community. However, one thing is for certain, with Richard Yu, it is apparent that morals and ethics are the last thing that he cares about in business. Maximizing profits at any cost comes first, and Luke's decisions over the years have reflected this ideology. So what comes next for Luke and the Grand Champ Bootcamp? The community fallout from Dreamy's firing is still taking effect. Luke released another 4-page document in February 2024, basically saying that he sucks at community management, which is fair, I'd say. Luke has recently released a 1 hour and 20 minute long video going over all of his past controversies, and I'm not gonna lie, I do not hate myself enough to watch all of that. But someone else does, and he basically debunked the whole video, calling Luke a liar and the GCB a giant scam. If you want to have a read through that, the link is in the description. Meanwhile, another version of the GCB has been set up to entice people who are leaving Luke's server. It's basically the same thing, but admission fees are only $50. And finally, I did some snooping on Luke's LinkedIn page, where he posted that he was looking to expand his coaching empire across more game titles. So it looks like that he's not gonna stop anytime soon. If I was to give any advice to someone working with Luke in the future, it would be to not get too comfy. But that is the story of the Grand Champ Bootcamp so far. Let me know your thoughts of Spook Luke in the comments, and remember to like and subscribe, or else you'll have to pay $1,000 for Luke's coaching. And shout out to Swordfish Esports too, because without their help, this video would not have been possible. If you're looking for a fun and competitive community, go check them out in the description as well.